G'day all, welcome back to the channel. On this video we're going to do something a little bit different, being that we're sort of at the tail end of the VL. Just flicking some lights on here. Trying to improve this light, so I apologise about the light, but the weather outside is absolutely shit house today, so I've got the door shut to minimise the wind and all that. So hopefully, I mean the light here is pretty good. Got a couple of LEDs on the go, but anyway, on this episode we're actually taking a little break from the VL. I just wanted to make another little video to show an important step that needs to be done prior to absolutely doing anything at all on your project. So I've got another car in that's come in. If you've followed the channel since the very beginning, or you've recently found me, or whatever it may be, and you've gone back and watched my previous videos, this car, I used to put an intro at the start of my videos. I stopped doing that because I thought no one really gave a shit, so I stopped doing it. But this car was actually in the intro in a few of my videos, so I have done work previously to this car. Now it's come in, the owner's doing an engine swap on it, so he wants to freshen up the engine bay, make it look nice and pretty before the new horse goes in. So I'll give you a look at the engine bay. Basically what we're going to be doing today, I'll have to flip the camera in because you can't see it properly. Obviously engine's out, but the car had, well, the engine bay had some paint issues all along this top part of the engine bay. Had paint blistering or, reacting, whatever it may have been. So as you can tell, the owner actually stripped all this paint off, and it's obviously sat just in bare metal for a period of time, and now we've got surface rust and the metal is absolutely putrid. So before we do anything to this and start doing any work to it, we need to clean all this metal up, and clean up and neutralize all this rust. So basically what I'm going to do, the product that I use to do it is this one here. So it's a product by Oxitec. It's called Anti-Ox De-Ruster and Degreaser. Now it works just like basically all the other rust converters on the market. It is a phosphoric acid. You can dilute it, which I will be doing on this. So if you've just got sort of light surface rust and light rust, you can dilute this 1 part of the actual Oxitec Anti-Ox to 10 parts water. If you've got pretty severe rust, you can use it undiluted, that's fine. But I think a lot of people sort of aren't really sure about doing this step because it seems so absolutely ridiculous that to get rid of rust you use this product, and to neutralize it you have to neutralize it with water. And I think that scares a lot of people because for years water has been the culprit for rust. Everyone's got in their mind that water is no good for bare metal, and it's not. But it's not the only thing that actually causes surface rust. It's actually oxygen. So from the moment you bare metal something, especially if it's a humid day, or if you're close to the ocean, or if you're something like that, the moment you bare metal it, that metal will start oxidizing. We can't see it with the naked human eye, but it will start oxidizing straight away. So unless you're in a nice dry climate, you can bare metal something, and you've sort of got a window of, in my opinion, I wouldn't leave anything really longer than 2 days before I put something on it. That's probably too long. I'd probably say 24 hours. But the good thing with this product, once you use it, it actually leaves a coating on the metal. So it does give you a bit of leeway to let it sit in bare metal if you wish. but we're not going to obviously do that. Once I do this and get all this metal cleaned up, I will be sealing it with epoxy primer. You can use etch primer if you want to. It's totally up to you. I'm not going to get into the debate of epoxy and etch, but basically epoxy primer, in my opinion, is the best product to use over bare steel or mild steel, because it's not porous, it's not going to absorb moisture, it's not going to let anything in. It's basically a barrier between the atmosphere and the metal, basically. I've already got a cup with Antiox mixed in it, so I've basically put, I'll grab the cup, give you a look. So I've basically put 50 ml of Antiox in it and 500 mils of water. So what I like to do to apply it, red Scotch-Brite, wear gloves with this, don't muck around, it is an acid. You're probably better off to wear goggles too if you're a bit, like to really splash it around and you don't want any kickbacks going in the eyes, because it's acid. I don't think I need to fucking go right into it. I don't think anyone's that silly, but hey, stranger things have happened. So anyway, I'm going to flip the camera and I'll set it up and I'll show you what I'm going to do now. Before you actually start doing this, you got to have 2 rags, one damp, one dry. Damp as in dunk it in water, wring it out, and that's it. Don't dunk it in water and have it sopping wet and drown it, but just damp, wipe over it really well to neutralise it, dry cloth over the top. If you've got compressed air, if you've got access to compressed air, blow it dry, and that's really it. So I'll flip it around, we'll do this engine bay and I'll show you how it's done. Alright, so down here I've got a bucket of fresh water, obviously the gloves are going on, got the goggles, we're not here to muck around, we're not going blind, I like my vision. So I've got, as I said, a bucket of water down here, I've got 2 rags ready to go, so I'm just using a blue one just as the wet rag. So in the water it goes. So I'll wring most of it out, so basically I can hold that rag and there's no water dripping. That's how I've always done it, that's how I like to do it. So I'll have that ready, so I'll turn this camera down to face the rad support. Hopefully he's going to be able to see it fairly well. So I'm going to do this area here, just so you can see. So red Scotch-Brite in the solution, let most of it drain, just so the pad's covered in it. And this is all I do, so hopefully you can see what's going on here. And you can see that surface rust is just coming off. So again, we'll come all along here, clean it all up. It really doesn't take a lot of effort, just be thorough, but it's not a strenuous job, it's not a tedious job, it's just take your time, rub it in, get rid of all that surface rust. You're probably better off working in sections as well, don't try and do the whole lot in one hit. And as you can see, I would probably do a bit like that. Then I'll grab the rag, wipe it off. Like so. throw him in the water, dry rag over the top. And that's how it's done. So I'm going to flip it around. I'll give you a look at the metal. Alright, so as you can see, now that metal is absolutely spotless, and I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up, but it does have like a slight tinge to the metal. It's sort of, that's how you know that it's doing the job, but that metal there is a lot cleaner than what it was like that. So that's how you want it. I may go over this again, just to be doubly safe, but that's all there is to it. If you've got little seams and stuff, that's what you can use compressed air for, to make sure that you get any water or solution out of there. You don't want to, ideally you don't want to leave obviously any antiox or whatever product you're using in any seams. I mean, this is actually a fold, it's not a seam, but for instance, you know, if you were doing in here and it was getting under the seam, you'd blow all that out, make sure it's out. But that's really it, guys. So it's much better than that. So just do it in sections, whatever you're doing, or panel by panel. Take your time, you know, clean it off properly. The most important part here is neutralising that acid, because if you don't neutralise that, any primer or etch, whatever you put on it, it's not going to stick. It's just going to straight off. So I'm going to continue on and do this, and I'll knock all the rest of this out. I'm not going to film it all, but I just wanted to give you a look at how it's done. So, alright, so I've gone ahead and done the whole lot. As you can see, all the metal's clean. This discoloration or bluing, that's quite normal. Long as all the surface rust is gone, the metal's clean, that's all there is to it. So just make sure, if you're doing this at home, from this moment on now, when I work on this car, always wearing gloves, because now we've done all that, you don't want to undo what we've just done by rubbing your bare hands all over it. Even if you go and wash your hands, we still have oil in our skin, and that'll just undo everything that we've just done. So yeah, it's all done now. I've neutralised it. I've blown all the crevices out with compressed air. So that's all there is to it. That's all I do to treat my bare metal. If you do like these sort of videos thrown in amongst, you know, I mean, I know sometimes it can feel a bit stretched out just pumping out videos on the VL, but that's the car that I've been working on consistently for the last couple of months, so that's why there's just been videos on that. But I thought I'd do a few little ones on this while it's here, just to mix things up and break things up a little bit. But you know, if you like these little videos where it's hopefully informative and you learn something that maybe you didn't know, or maybe you had these sort of questions about this stuff, and I've hopefully answered any questions that you may have had. But that's how I do it. That's how I've always done it. I haven't had an issue yet, so I think I'm doing something right. So just remember, from this moment on, always wear gloves until that bare metal is sealed. So that's it for this one, guys. I just thought I'd give a little rundown on that, but I'm probably going to film the process of doing this engine bay job. So if you're into your early Falcons and you want to watch it, there'll be videos coming out on it. So, well, a video. So anyway, enough chit chat. I'll leave it at that. Till the next one, I'll see you then. Cheers.